We might get a few more people, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. So welcome, everyone. Good evening. If you're just joining us for the first time or returning. So if you're returning, welcome and welcome back. And if this is your first time, welcome. We begin each stakeholder working group meeting with a few housekeeping items, and I'll run through those quickly. After, we'll go ahead and start sharing our slide deck so you can follow along. If you are driving, please do not look at your phone. We'll wait till you get to a safe spot. Awesome, that looks good, Anna. Thank you. And go ahead and go to the second slide. Great. So our agenda this evening, it's the same. We keep that the same for each meeting. This is a quarterly meeting. We begin each meeting with introductions and some housekeeping, which I'll go over in a moment. And then we ask our stakeholder working group members that are here to give any updates or ask questions, share information they have. Maybe we're hearing things from the community. We'll review the November stakeholder working group meeting briefly, and then Ben is going to provide a project update. I'll provide a community outreach update, and we'll have some time for open discussion. And I do see more people logging on, so welcome. And we'll go ahead and go to the next slide. So we are on a Zoom webinar, and that means the panelists, you can see the panelists. We cannot see the audience. And so you're seeing the members of the stakeholder working group and VTA staff that work on the Eastridge to BART Regional Connector project. Everyone is using their real names, so you can identify us easily. Let's see, I don't have any elected staff or representatives, so they might come back later. Anyway, this meeting is being recorded, and when I get the recording tomorrow, we'll get it posted up on the website. It should be up by Monday, and you can always go back and refer to that. Right now, your microphones are muted, and this ensures that background noise doesn't interfere with the discussion. That's really more an issue right now because Angela and I are like feet apart from each other. So I think you have access to open your mics right now. And if the group remains small, go ahead and speak up. If it gets larger, we'll just ask you to raise your virtual hand and we'll call on you to speak. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please. As always, our code of conduct is that we treat each other with respect and kindness. This project can get frustrating. There's a lot happening. And so, we want to, we value everybody's diversity of views and opinions. And so we just want to recognize that everyone has different experience and perspectives of where they sit, where they live, where they drive through the project. A lot of impacts are felt differently depending on where you live or work or how you travel. And so these meetings are designed for a healthy discussion to inform each other, address project progress, collaborate on outreach, and work through your questions or concerns you may have or what you're hearing through the community. And what remains paramount is that we treat each other respectfully. And let's go to the next slide. So reminder, roles of the stakeholder working group is to keep the community informed, especially as we we are gearing up. I feel like we're always gearing up for more construction, but we're in the throes of it, and you'll see activities keep building, and so we're just really busy out there. For those of you who might be new to this, in 2020, the Eastridge to BART Regional Connector Policy Advisory Board requested that staff develop a stakeholder working group to serve as project liaisons in the community. And these project liaisons have also been project advocates. So right now with us this evening, we have Laura Arechka with the Welch Neighborhood Association, Sandy Flores with Capital Goss, and we're expecting Ernesto to join us shortly. He's from the Casal Neighborhood Association. Craig Ferguson should be joining us, hopefully, with Thompson Creek. Julie Nunes represents the Lindale Neighborhood Association. John Peterson, I'm not sure if he's still with our group. I have not been able to reach him. If anyone has heard anything, he's represented the Eastridge businesses since 2020. I know there's been some changes at the mall, but we have not been able to reach him. And Huáscar Castro, Working Partnerships, we haven't heard from him, so we'll be checking to see if he plans to join us or continue. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next slide. So right now we still, Laura and Sandy are right now only ones here. So, and we can always come back if, Ernesto or Craig get on. This is a great time to share any updates you have in your community, your neighborhood associations, any announcements or feedback you're hearing from the community. Or do you have any events that you want to share? This is your moment. One of your moments.
Kathleen, this is Sandy with Capitol Park. One of my concern is the speeding along the construction zone on Capitol Expressway from Story Road up to Quimby. I still see a lot of traffic, speeders at all times during the week and weekends. So I don't know how much more you guys could put some safety measurements, but I still see a lot of speeders along the construction on Capitol Expressway.
That has been a concern from day one. And we have more speed limit signs posting 35 miles per hour than there were pre-construction with the 45-mile-per-hour signs. We have the CMS boards about speed, the changeable message signs. We have the signs that say you're going, how fast you're going. We have had support from the police department. We've even had like dummy cars out there. They have been out there ticketing. And this has been an ongoing issue that we're also dealing with. And I'm not sure what more we can do. Ben's going to talk about this in a little bit, but we're going to have another traffic shift. And we've talked about, maybe put this, paint the speed limit onto the pavement. You see that sometimes. A lot of it is awareness. Part of me is like, when we all got our driver's license, we all took a test and we talked about like, what happens when you go through a construction zone or follow the speed limit signs. It's talking to our neighborhoods, it's talking to the kids, talking to our families, like, hey, you got to slow down. I love you. Slow down, right? We don't want anything to happen. So it's something we're working on. It's just, it's hard. We want it enforced. We're putting all the signage out there. We need help with enforcement too. So we're certainly welcome to other ideas. And I don't know, Ben or Scott, Ken disappeared. No, Ken is here. If any of you want to pipe in on this one.
No, I think you covered it, Kathleen. I think we have done everything we can. And, we also had where the cops issue tickets, right, for speeding. And like you mentioned, so we have two speed radars there, right? I mean, that shows, what the speed they're traveling at. Yeah, frankly, I don't know what else we can do. Maybe something this should be brought up at the neighborhood association meetings with the cops to see if they can do something. In fact, we are getting complaints from the construction workers too. I mean, construction workers are saying it's so unsafe. They're driving fast, right? So, yeah, unfortunately, I think we have done everything we can. Yeah, what else we can do.
Something that I'd like to ask, we haven't done, like lately, we haven't gone to a neighborhood association. And what I'd like is to not like necessarily go there to present, because we have these meetings, we do monthly notices. But we could be there to present, but also maybe just to like be at the table with everyone and share the concerns, because you also always have the police at your meetings. And when I've been to your meetings, you tell them. I hear this too, but I'd be happy to also like, hey, it really is an issue. It's an issue for the project as well. So if you guys want to invite me to your next meetings, between myself, Angel, Lupita, who's not with us this evening, she might be able to join in later. We can, divide and conquer and come to your events and help reiterate that message.
Hi, this is Laura. I think that's a great idea, actually, because they can also get a up-to-date on what's going on.
Yeah.
And also give their, like you said, PD is there, and they're, they can get input basically as to what the complaints are and give their side too. Because not, we're on time schedule sometimes for the meetings.
Yeah,
So sometimes I can't put my input on or updates on the VTA because they're already over time.
right.
So I think
And
that's a great idea.
yeah, I almost feel like it would be like more, like I used to do this for the BRT. I ended up going to every Plateau Arroyo meeting. And instead of coming with my presentation, I would just like, here's what you're seeing out here, here's what's coming, here are the issues, like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
It
I
doesn't
think
have
that's a
to,
great idea.
let's start planning that. So maybe after this meeting, we can connect and same thing, Sandy, for Cassell or Capital Goss. Let's just get us on the agendas.
Yeah, Kathleen, I agree with Laura. I think that's
Awesome.
an excellent idea.
It's also a great way to connect with everybody. It's more personal. It's less formal. So
True.
great. Oh, I thought I heard somebody else. Okay. Anything else before we go to the next one? Okay, let's go to the next slide. So last time we met was in November, and we spent a lot of time addressing the soil and air and water environmental monitoring. And after the meeting, I provided everyone copies of the soil reports and also to some community members that had requested it. And since the meeting and since I've provided those, I haven't received any comments or questions. So if there are any, you've got the team here this evening that can respond to that. No comments, no questions. Okay.
What was the outcome of the
Well,
result?
well, basically on the monitoring, we have not encountered any, oh my God, help me, contaminated.
No abnormal readings or
No abnormal readings, no. So that's a good thing.
Yep.
that's good.
And the other thing, Julie's not here, so anyway, she had brought up concerns about contractor parking in the construction zone in the median of Capitol Avenue. We do have, that is our construction zone, that is, and we do have permits. That is where they are allowed to park. The only area our construction workers are not allowed to park are at like the Crossroads Shopping Center. And we do have some work coming up in March to remove the overhead catenary at the end of the line. We're taking advantage of, we have regular light rail rehab projects going on, and there's a shutdown coming up. We're taking advantage of that time when the power is down to remove the overhead lines. And so there's going to be more work on Capitol Avenue starting up. And so I just wanted to reiterate that we do have the right to be in that zone for the construction workers to park in that median area. They're also allowed to park on public streets, so in the residential neighborhoods. What they cannot do is move your garbage cans. They should not be moving your green waste or blocking it from getting picked up. And then there was some concern about sleeping in their cars. And I just want to, remind everyone that the projects outside, they don't have an office to go to when it's their break time. And they are working long, hard hours overnight during the day. And so how they use their breaks is on them. And if they want to go to their car and if they need to close their eyes for a few minutes, that's perfectly okay. It's their break time. So I just wanted to address that because I know that came up in our last meeting.
I wonder if maybe a sign on their mirror indicating, the company they're with or whatever would be helpful so that people won't complain.
It's not a bad idea. I could even make that for them, like, I'm on a break. We do that here, we stick up, we have in our cubicle environment, we put chains or, decorative things to block, like, hey, I'm in a meeting, don't talk to me, or it's on the back of my chair, I'm in a meeting.
Yeah, because then they might think, oh, well, it's just a homeless person, just,
That's
you
not a
just
bad
never know.
idea. Yeah, we can look at making, see if they'll put those in their cars, just to protect them. I just, as we have more
Yeah.
work coming up in that area, I just want to make sure people know that. But, at the same time, if somebody's moving your garbage can to like park, then, because I know it's parking's, premium over there, let us
Yeah.
know and we can address that.
Yeah. But I think that would be, I mean, just because those guys, they do work hard. I mean, I do see them out there. If they do need a break, I think they shouldn't have to be hassled about it,
Yeah, yeah. Even I go to my car and take naps sometimes during the day here.
I used to do that too.
Got to do it. I mean, 10 minutes makes all the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we spent the whole meeting really on the soil and air report, so that pretty much covered it. I don't think we really talked very much about the outreach, so we'll do a little bit more on that today after Ben does his construction update. So I'm turning the microphone over to Ben. I'm going to mute myself and go ahead and Angel, next slide. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kathleen. Since our last update in November, we have made a lot of progress on the project construction. You probably may have noticed if you drive along Capitol Expressway. Next slide, please, Angel. The bridge construction activities continues. Typically, construction activity is excavation. You'll see foundation excavation there, foundation pile driving. These are all the steps in building a bridge. Once the foundation is complete, then columns are built, and then after that, you see the top portion, which is the superstructure. For us to expedite this construction, we have 2 crews and 2 shifts on this project. We have 1 crew on the north side of Ocala working, and then we have another crew south of Cunningham, building this bridge. You may have noticed already some underground drainage work happening at various locations, from Tully all the way up to Capitol Avenue intersection, Excalibur area. So all those underground drainage work is going on, and once that is done, we are basically moving those drainage away from where the bridge foundation will be. So those are the activities that you'll be noticing along Capitol Expressway. Next slide, please. So here are some of the photos for different stages of bridge construction. On the left side, you see these concrete piles being delivered to the site. And then these are the ones that go into the foundation, to make it a solid foundation for the bridge, to support the bridge. The middle photo you see is on the top one is you see that green colored fabric that is it's called the pile shroud, and this is the one that reduces the noise of the hammer that hits the pile, trying to push it down into the ground. So it's been very effective in reducing the noise levels there. The bottom one is, once these concrete piles are in the ground, they're going to go further down, as you can see on the right side of the photo. So these are all different stages of pile foundation construction. Next slide, please. So the next level, after the foundation is constructed, the next thing is to pour concrete, right? These are all concrete bridges. So you'll see the foundation, after the pile foundation rebars, the reinforcement is put in. You'll see the middle is where, we have a concrete pump and the concrete trucks come in and, pour this columns and the foundation. So this has been going on for many months, and it's kind of like they have set up a kind of a regular rhythm in construction of this bridge. So far we've been very lucky and happy to see that contractors' operations is going smoothly. We hope that stays like this through the end of the project. Next slide, please. So the next step, after the columns are built, the next thing is, they're building this what's called a false work. This is the one. These are temporary supports to build the top portion of the bridge. We call it a superstructure. So you see all those steel pipes sticking up. So these are called the false work piles, and over that, we have this wooden formwork, and once that is done, we have the bridge. We call it as a stem and the soffit of the bridge. So maybe the next photo will explain it better. So here is, all this, we call it as part of the superstructure false work. You see the formwork taking shape of the bridge, and then once this is ready, then they bring in reinforcement or rebars. They place the rebars in, and then they pour concrete. So this eventually, all the loads go into the columns you see that's been previously built, and then goes down to the foundation. All the loads are going to the foundation, to the ground. Next slide, please. So this is what we call it a stem and soffit reinforcement. A lot of rebars goes into this. We have hundreds of thousands of pounds of reinforcement on this project. So this is just before they start forming up for the inside of the bridge. This is the amount of reinforcement that goes into this construction. Next slide, please. So this is, you probably may have noticed if you have gone by, this is what you see here is the concrete pumps, pumping up to the top level of the bridge. We have regular concrete trucks that come in, and they pour concrete into the pump, and the pump takes it up to the top level. So this has been going on for many spans of the bridge. And we make sure that this work is done, between in the non-peak hours. So we try to finish the concreting by 3 p.m. because the traffic picks up at 3, and we don't start till 9 o'clock in the morning. So we try to time it in such a way that this work is has minimal impacts to the traffic. Next slide, please. So here is the next step. After the concrete is poured, they remove this. We call it as formwork. This is all the wooden planks you see. And then, on top of this, we call what's called the top deck, or the top deck of the superstructure. So over this, we have the slab, and in the future, once that is constructed, then we have the train tracks being installed on top of the bridge. So we're not there yet. So eventually that's going to happen. So this is how typical superstructure, stem and soffit, looks like. Next slide, please. So in addition to all the bridge work that's happening, we are also doing surface work. One of the things we did was, we had to widen Capitol Avenue between Wilbur and Excalibur, the Capitol Expressway intersection. The reason is, we are widening Capitol Avenue so that we can shift the traffic to the right side, so that we can start focusing our construction in the middle of Capitol Avenue. As you may remember, we have an existing station at Alum Rock, and we're extending that from Alum Rock to East Ridge, right through the middle of Capitol Avenue. So that's where the bridge is going to be built. The next phase of construction, you'll be seeing more activities between Story Road and Capital Excalibur segment. And also in the next maybe 4 to 6 months, you'll see activities along Capitol Avenue, in right where this Crossroads Shopping Center is. One of the things we did here was the driveway construction. We had to, we were careful not to completely close the driveway. We did it in half and half. We always made sure that half of the driveway is open for businesses, for patrons to come in and shop there, and very efficiently. We completed this work, and what you see on these photos, it's all the finished landscaping that we did. And once the construction was done, we landscaped that area around the businesses there. Next slide, please. So, as usual, as to be expected, I should say. Sorry, construction. There were some concerns about nighttime noise. Like I mentioned, there are some work that has to happen at night. We don't have a choice, because during the daytime we cannot completely close the expressway, or even we can't even close 2 lanes because the traffic is so much. And the county and the city wouldn't allow us to close more than 1 lane. So the only choice we have is to do this work when the traffic is low, volumes are low. So that's why we have to do this at night, and we don't have any other choice. Unfortunately, the noise levels, right? I mean, because of the nighttime, the levels, people would hear this noise, and we had some complaints, calls about the nighttime noise. So one of the things, we're trying to work with the homeowners, trying to, I know we cannot perfectly, ease all the concerns, and we're doing our best. We have provided white noise machines to many of the residences who asked for it. So I think, we have gotten some positive feedback on that. It has helped them. We also have provided air purifiers for some, who had concerns about, air quality and dust. And the other thing we did was we have issued car wash certificates for residents, who were closer to the resident, closer to the construction there. That helps them, wash their cars if there was dust that's settled on their cars. So we have given away car wash certificates for some of them. Next slide, please. So what are we doing during construction, right? We are trying to mitigate as much as possible. Construction noise and vibration is inevitable, but we are trying to reduce it as much as we can. So we are making sure that we know what noise levels are, and we know what vibration levels are. We're getting those readings, and we also, like I said, in the middle photo, you'll see this is what we call a plop pile shroud, that goes around the hammer area. So when there is an impact, that reduces the noise, and kind of contains the noise, but not, people are still going to hear the pile driving noise. The photo on the right side, we call it as Baker tanks. This is the one where the water that is being pumped out from the foundation. Like I said, when we're building the foundation, we go deep, we go almost 10 feet, and we are going maybe 35 feet by 35 feet. It's a big pit there, and there's a lot of groundwater that's coming out. The groundwater, we don't want to dispose it off immediately. So, what we do is, we store that water, we pump it into this Baker tanks. And once all the solids, they settle down, and then when it is somewhat cleaner water, then we release this into the storm drain. We also take samples to make sure we're not releasing any hazardous water into the storm drain system. So we've been very we're trying to be very cognizant of all the things, making sure that we are environmentally also complying. Next slide, please, Andrew. So the other thing, the last neighborhood meetings that we had gone, and also in this, stakeholder working group, we heard the complaints about speeding, and we said, in addition to, we probably have about 6 or 8 of the speed, 35-mile-per-hour signs along the project limit. In addition, we said, let's install the speed sensor, hoping that it helps. So we have 2 speed sensors, one in each direction. And what you see, one of them on the left side is one of the speed sensors, that we have installed. We do get complaints about graffiti. And, one of the things we do is we immediately address this within 24 or 48 hours, and we try to clear that. So the middle photo is a good example. We got a call from the public, and immediately went there and removed the graffiti or covered it. So on the right side, you see sometimes construction creates dust. And we make sure that we have water truck all the time on the project site, so that the dust is suppressed. Here is a photo where the contractor is spraying water in the construction area. And we also have, in addition to this, we have a sweeper that sweeps all the dust that is on the street. So that's also during construction, they go from one end to the other sweeping. Next slide, please. So what do we expect for the next 3 months, right? So, in addition to what's happening, we expect some intersection widening. You may have noticed at Story Road, there's intersection widening happening, in addition to the, underground storm drain work. We are having a traffic shift coming next in March 4th, and also one on March around March 15th. So what this is we are shifting the lanes. The first one would be going northbound. We are shifting the lane outwards, and then we are making room in the middle so that we can start construction in the middle. So this is going to be, the traffic shift will be near Story Road all the way up to Excalibur Capitol Avenue intersection. So that's the next phase of bridge construction that's going to be occurring in the month or so from now. We continue to do the underground drainage and sewer work. We have a few more months of work for underground work. We do underground electrical work, trying to get new services for electrical, for new signals, traffic signals, trying to get the power. We continue to do the bridge construction, pile driving, foundation, columns, false work, and bridge deck. Another thing we are going to be doing is in the north end, right next to Alum Rock Station, there is we call it as a storage track. It's an extra track that goes past Wilbur intersection. So we'll be rearranging these poles that carry the wiring. These are the overhead wiring for powering the light rail. So we have to relocate those so that we have room in the middle for extension of the track and building the bridge. So those are the things that's going to be happening the next 3 months. So, when we do these overhead wiring adjustments, there will be impacts to the light rail. This is a light rail that is coming to the Alum Rock station. So we'll be working closely, informing the public about we call it as a shutdown, or service shutdown for a couple of stations. The trains will not be serviced, so we will have a bus bridge. The bus bridge would basically cover those stations that are where the light rail is not able to go because of this work. So we have to shut down the power so that the workers can work and relocate these poles and the wiring. Next slide, please. So with that, I'll be happy to take any questions.
Small enough group, so go ahead and speak up if you have any.
No questions at this time.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, well, I'll take over again and we'll just go over some community outreach.
Maybe real quick, this is Ken. Can you just describe what the traffic shift might look like then, coming up in March? So what can the community expect as part of that traffic shift?
Yeah. So right now, if you have driven on the northbound Capital Expressway, you will see that we have a lot of activities happening on the right side when you're going north. For example, near Chevron, past Chevron, after Story, near BRT station and all. You see all that work that's happening on the right side, but we are not doing anything in the middle of the expressway. But when we do the traffic shift, we are putting these concrete barriers, this we call it as K-rail. So those would go in the middle of the expressway, and then we are shifting the traffic outwards in the sense, for example, if you're going on the northbound direction, the traffic will be shifted towards, let's say, Chevron is a good example, or the car wash, which is across, Story Road, right? So the traffic will be shifted outwards, and then the construction will be starting in the middle. The same applies to the southbound direction also. So we will be shifting the lanes. We would still have 3 lanes. There is no reduction in the lanes. Currently we have 3 lanes going, and we'll have 3 lanes. It's just the lanes will be shifted outwards, and we will have the work zone being established in the middle of the Capital Express.
So the areas that you've been widening, particularly at the intersections, you're going to move into those areas and start occupying the middle. Is there going to be any impacts to the intersections?
No impacts to the intersections.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're really just moving down the corridor to the areas that you've widened already.
Yeah.
You're going to now shift traffic out toward the widening, toward the sidewalk, so you can occupy the middle.
Yes.
Great.
I have a question about that. Right now, we took away the right turn pockets, and they have to kind of do the, pull out more and do a sharper right. With this traffic shift, do they come back?
Yes, let me confirm with Scott. I think Scott, for example, in the northbound direction, are we going to be completing that right turn at Chevron? Will that be complete?
No. So for this next upcoming stage, it'll just be 3 through lanes. There won't be any turn lanes available. And also, we are reducing from 4 lane on northbound Capital Expressway. We're reducing from 4 lanes to 3 lanes. In this next stage, there's a distance from Story to Mervyn Way where it's 4, so that's just going to go to 3 now.
Mm-hmm. So currently there is a small segment of lane which is still available. The fourth one, if someone, is on Story Road, you will see that it drops to 3 just around Mervin's Lane, right? This is to the south of Capitol Avenue. So we're going to be taking that small merge that we had. So that's right. But we would still have the BRT station on the northbound side at Story still open.
Okay, so, but you can still make the turns, even though you won't have those dedicated turn lanes. You can still turn right, you can still turn left. And I think what I'd like to do for the, let's see, are we going to be able to get it for Monday? Probably not. For Monday, the 24th, we do weekly notices, but for the larger distribution, the monthly distribution, that'll go out on March 3rd. I'd like to get a good display that's easy to understand, that we can share when we do our emailed update. And then that way our stakeholder working group can also share that out. I think that will be help. It's a picture's worth 1,000 words, really, on this. And even for, those of us who have been hearing about this for years, pictures are always really helpful.
Yeah.
So that's our project next week, just to get a better picture. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions before we jump into outreach? Going on. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide. So, 2024, we started this project, the construction of the project. The project's been going on for years, but the construction started in May of last year. And so we have been out in the community, attending the back to school events, coffee with the principal, District 8 Family Fall Festival, Foxdale Apartment Fall Festival, multiple elementary, middle school resource fairs, and ended with a Christmas tree giveaway in December. And so these are a few photos of these. We, if you can go back to, go back, go to that one. Yeah, thank you. We opened up a field office located at Story and well, it's on Capitol Avenue at Story, right next door to World Oil. It's a trailer now. And we had a Saturday open house for the community. And so that's what you're seeing over here. That was in September. We can go ahead and go to the next slide. That's a couple of photos of the fall festivals. One was the District 8, and I believe the one with Lupita and Vi is, I believe that was Foxdale. And we want to go to the next one. The outreach also includes meeting with the business owners and property owners. And this one, we've met many times with the property owner, the person who owns the Crossroads Shopping Center, in addition to meeting with the businesses. And on the one on the right, we're meeting with S&S Market. We did a lot of coordination with their sign and putting together a temporary sign so that people still see them and realize that they are open, because you might recall access to S&S Market is no longer available from Capitol Expressway. Now people have to go and access it through Colmar. We can go ahead and go to the next one. Our outreach includes reaching out to our district office staff. So in that first picture, we did a walking tour. We walked from the Eastridge Transit Center north to Alum Rock, and then we took the bus back just to walk through and experience what the neighborhood is experiencing, see what the, how the driving is going. And it gives the elected office staff, who also get calls about this project, a good understanding of what's happening, and they can ask questions of us. And we've been meeting regularly about every quarter. And this was the first time we took it. Well, actually, this is the second time we took it out in the field. The first time was before the project started to understand what was going to happen. And then we've been meeting online, and then we met this one in the field. And so we'll alternate that just to keep everybody informed. Because I know a lot of times they'll get the phone call, like, what are they doing over here? What are they doing over there? So that helps. Go to the next one. We had 3 newsletters go out last year. So that would be spring, summer, and fall. And this is an example of construction notices. We do mailed notices, but we also do a lot of just door to door. Like if we're right behind your house, you get a door to door notice. Where folks maybe that live in Mount Pleasant really don't care if we're right behind your house. And I don't mean that in a bad way. We just know that if we're right behind your house, it's a different impact. And so we've been keeping folks really updated. And we also did a lot of pre-construction surveys, where we went to people's homes that were right along the corridor to, document the condition of the home. That way, in the event that they should say, hey, you were pile driving and my house cracked, we have pre-construction where we can look and say, yep, you're right. That was from the project. And we know we'll fix that. So we just, a lot of door-to-door management. And so Lupita, who's not here again this evening, she has school tonight. She's been so instrumental, and she's Spanish speaking, so that's been very helpful. And Angel also is Spanish speaking. I am not. So it's good that we're able to communicate with the neighbors in their language. So we've just really kept up keeping the neighbors aware of what's happening. And I want to mention too, all of our mailings, like that fall newsletter that we're showing, and you're going to see a winter one. You might have already received it this week. They're all translated, right? So everything is in English, Spanish, Vietnamese, Chinese, and Tagalog. Those are the top languages in the area. And what we've been doing with our newsletters is giving you different information about the project so you can really understand it. And I'm looking forward to you seeing the winter one. We really talk about the environmental stuff that we've been, how we mitigate for air and soil and animals and plants. And so I hope you enjoy that when you receive it. And then the next mailing you're going to get is another construction notice to talk about these next 3 months. And we're going to, because it's kind of on a wider level, we're going to start mailing those in addition to the door-to-door. We'll go back to that. And we've been working on a map that shows all the different activities happening. And what I'm hoping is that as this project progresses, we'll see, on the legend, a red line is the alignment and a green circle is moving the BRT. That I'm hoping these things start to go away, because that means we have really completed something, and until we are done and we have a beautiful project. I want to go ahead and go to the next one. We ended 2024 with a holiday appreciation event. This was held at the community outreach office on Story and Capitol Avenue. And we had food catered by La Grelenza over at Crossroads Shopping Center. If you haven't eaten there, it was yummy. And we just, it's just a fun, lighthearted event, no agenda. We're not talking, if you have questions about the project, we'll answer it, but we're not here to present. It's just here to enjoy and share information and then get to know each other more. Let's go to the next slide. We've had a very robust social media campaign, and this is kind of cool. It's been fun doing this. We've had featured different people on the project, talk about aspects in 20 to 30 seconds of the project. We had one, the BART project was interested in what we were doing. So we had a video on how our projects are different. What is the Eastridge to BART project? And what is the BART project? One is heavy rail, one is light rail, one is above ground, one is below ground. And that was really cute. We've gotten a lot of shares, people, they're trending. So that's been kind of fun to do. Let's see, and traffic advisories, we've been sending those out. We send traffic advisories out when a road is closed. For the lane closures, those are constant. They're happening all the time. They're changing all the time. So that is where people remember driver's ed, pay attention. We'll tell you about the traffic shift, but that's still, they still close lanes during the day and more at night. So we just want to make sure people are aware of that. But when it's a closure and you have to detour, we'll do a traffic advisory. Let's go to the next one. We have to help the businesses, like at Crossroads, the shopping center where In and Out is at Tully. We've launched a Shop Local, Shop East Capitol Expressway. Just trying to, let people know, like, don't let construction keep you from getting your favorite, whatever it is, whether that's a store that sells gift items or a restaurant. We want to make sure, access is always open. We make sure that when we're working in the driveway, we are only using half of the driveway. So that is ongoing, and we also have a list of all the stores that are along the alignment. And we're doing this through bus shelter posters. So those are, if you ride our bus, if you ride our light rail and you look up, we have car cards, we have posters in there. We have billboards at our bus stops and stations. We've done blogs, we have digital display ads, social media, print ads. And so you might, if you follow us on Facebook, these will pop up. So these are, just things to help the businesses and what we can do. Okay, and we'll go ahead and go to the next slide. Thank you. So let's see. I'll at the end, I'll show it up, but we have a newsletter it should be hitting your mailboxes now. It went out Tuesday to the mailbox. That's our winter newsletter. And we'll have one every quarter. So the next one will be in May. And we have these meetings every quarter. And then the month after these meetings is the quarterly policy advisory board meeting. Again, that is with your electeds. Right now, it is our supervisor Arenas and council members Ortiz and Candelas. Every week we send out, and it's mostly going to city staff like our DOT, county DOT, but also our elected offices and our stakeholder working group. Here's what we did last week. Here's what's coming next week. Here's what we did last week. Here's what's coming next week. That's every week. And we post it on the project page on the VTA.org site. And then every month on the first Monday, we do a broader distribution of what to expect, what we've done, what to expect. So you'll see the next one on that on the 3rd of March. And I mentioned earlier, we have another mailer coming out separate from the newsletter. The newsletter is more newsy stories, where the construction notice, a little more dry. What are we doing? Where are we doing it? When are we doing it? So who, what, when, where. And that's kind of it. Let's see. Yeah, that concludes it. So that's our contact information. And I always encourage people to, sign up for updates on the website. I see that Ken has his hand raised. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, in addition to the all the good outreach you had talked about, Kathleen, we actually reached out to schools 2 times.
Yes.
We did a career college fair. We were part of a lot of people that went to the Apollo school that's located there at Overfeld. And so we went to that school, and we went back with a special presentation to all of the math classes and talked about how our project uses math and the different careers people can use in engineering and construction, and the way that the project's being built. We just showed all the careers that are involved in that. And so we offered to go back again and talk about how bridges are built and talk more about that with the schools there. But I think, it was worth kind of noting how we're reaching the community in that.
I have to apologize for you because in the newsletter, we talked about all the outreach and all the different events. And Ken, I'm sorry, we missed that one, but we are going to catch it in the next newsletter for you because those are really neat events, and the schools bring us back a lot. And I think when we've offered to come to them, they have been like, yeah, that would be really neat. We have another request, but I think they're more interested in safety in transit. So I'll do a little, I need to respond to that request and see. So Ken, I may be calling on you, or maybe on Aston, or maybe both of you, and maybe do some kind of presentation on that. Laura, and you're up. Yeah, good.
I'm just curious with, the new administration, is there any federal funding that's coming to this project?
No.
Okay,
No,
good.
this one is completely locally, local funded. Yes,
Okay.
I know.
Just had to check. We don't need any more interruptions.
No, this is moving forward. I refuse to not say DEI, and In fact, VTA, I just completed a DEI certification course yesterday, that
Oh.
VTA, paid for.
Okay,
No, we are,
keep going forward.
we're not, yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. Well, because I saw that the train system was it's, being compromised right now, I guess. you could
I know
say.
they're looking at high-speed rail, they're looking
Yeah,
at the
the high
BART
speed.
project,
Yeah.
and, I'm not on the BART project. But I try to pay attention where I can. I did listen to our last board meeting. I know our board wants to be cautious. That they are, they want to, we need the funding.
Yeah.
So they want to present, some cost saving measures that they're looking at. I don't know what those are. I think that's the project that maybe has VTA more concerned right now. This project, we're good, we're funded, we're moving on.
Okay, good.
Oh, God, yeah, I know, that would. That's a pit in the stomach. I would hate to have that affected. And I'm like a little rebel on these things, so it's like we are gonna continue to translate, we're gonna continue to do outreach, we're gonna continue to do everything that we're doing. So if we can stop sharing for a second, so I can show this newsletter is what's coming up. Let's see, I think I've got it in your view. And this one, like I mentioned, it talks about the environmental stewardship for this project. And it goes on to the, talks about the soil, water and air quality, birds and trees. And it's high level. It doesn't go into super detail because we didn't have that many, pages to work with. But it also talks about historic, cultural, and archaeological resources. And it gives a little history on East San Jose, like, why do we look at this? What might we find here? We talk about, public information. We continue on to how it's built, keep reminding people, these are all the steps that we take. We share all the community outreach we did for 2024. It mentions this meeting, how it's every quarter, where can you get the information on the website? And then it gets repeated in all the different languages. And we use different pictures throughout, so it makes it more interesting. And I'm really pleased Lupita spends a lot of time making this layout. And even though it does take a lot more paper, it looks really good. And I think it's more interesting. And so if you invite us to your neighborhood association meetings, we can bring copies too, because I think it's a good piece to share.
Kathleen, just an FYI, not to interrupt you, but I just got mine today.
Yes, okay. So if that was mailed on Tuesday, today's Thursday, that's great. Thank you for that confirmation. And we're going to get it out at libraries. We'll have copies at the outreach office. The outreach office, we have had it open 2 days a week. We've had, since we opened it, 4 people drop in. We've had a couple of appointments. So what we've done is we've reduced it to staffing it once a week. If it picks up, we'll adjust again. But I just wanted to be, make better use of staff time. It's kind of like working from home. The Wi-Fi is a little sketchy. So if they're just sitting waiting for somebody to come by, it's not the best use of time. But it's still available by appointment. And like I said, we'll address that if we feel like, we see an uptick in folks coming by. I think I've covered everything. Angel, can you think of anything or? And I just want to share, Angel passed his 6-month probation. We're keeping him. He's staying with us. That's the best part, is he's staying with us. Okay. I see we had one attendee. I just want to share, we're going to go ahead and end the meeting. I want to thank Laura and Sandy for coming. If there's any more questions, we'll take that before I really end it. If not, I'll just say thank you for coming. We'll get this posted. I just saw Laura's little thing. Thank you. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll reach out to the stakeholder working group about just getting us on your, not really on your agenda, just let us know when your meeting is and we can be there, not with a purpose other than to be there and answer questions or help stress the need for speed control. So I'll get the dates from you. I already have 4 highway meetings in March. So I might divide and conquer, and I know a couple of the neighborhoods, it's better if I have somebody who is Spanish speaking so they can respond in Spanish. So we'll adjust our staff to make sure we get that covered correctly. And with that, I say thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.